Today's episode of Zoo Tours.
Has no one ever suggested this channel to me in my comment section, bro? Oh my god, I hope this video does well. Oh my god. That's crazy.
Rachel CGI instead. On ground and the 7 Discord mods. The CGI looks much better when I turn my monitor off.
Wow.
Disney invites you and I must politely decline. I'm rooting for the poison apple.
I'm rooting for the poison apple. Yo, somebody gotta stop this. Somebody gotta stop this. That is these yeah, they need to do something with this movie, bruh. I can't. Oh my god.
Why is Lord Farquaad playing Snow White?
Yo, why is Lord Farquaad? Yo, the disrespect went crazy. That's the side by side. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Oh my god.
This movie should come with a disclaimer. No dwarfs were harmed, but your childhood might be.
Disrespect.
I haven't seen something self-implode this hard since that Titan submarine.
I haven't seen some. Yo, I'm sorry. That was such a crazy moment in time. You got to see the collective hate of everyone on this planet for rich people. And the same thing with the healthcare dude that got shot. Like, oh my lord. And you know what? I'm like, you listen, I don't feel like you should speak on the dead. Like, I think positive emotions towards something, towards shit like that, I feel like builds up bad karma. I really do. But like, I can't be mad at nobody. Like, I'm like, like, just when I see it, I'm just like, whoo. But all right, we moved.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. As a German, I claim cultural appropriation. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Snow White in the 7 CGI abomination. Making the dwarfs look like a PS1 hack reap was a bold choice.
Wow.
Rachel Sadler looks like a medieval squire boy. Marvel's lost $237 million. Snow White, hold my beer. Disney.
Marvel's lost. Oh my god, yeah, bro. This movie got no love. This movie got no love. No love.
To make people famous, now it ends acting careers. Mirror, mirror on the wall, where the seats are empty in cinema hall. Mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the biggest Disney flop of all? Shut it.
Oh my lord, bruh. All right, yo, that was insanity, and we watched that insanity here too. But these are short ones. What? Let's just check out part 2. All right, so we here with funniest Snow White trailer comments as the song part 2. Let's continue with the disrespect.
It's okay, Disney, you can just cancel the film. We won't be mad if you admit defeat. Even Bob the Builder can't fix this. Disney achieved.
Even Bob the Builder can't fix this. What do you mean though? Come on.
The closest thing to One Piece. I release.
Disney achieved the.
Bob the Builder can't fix this. Disney achieved the closest thing to One Piece by releasing something we all collectively. Why is there an earthquake here? It's Walt Disney rolling in his grave.
Wow. Earthquake here. It's Walt Disney rolling in his grave. Yo, a lot of these lines are bars, like straight bars. Like, if you heard this shit, like somebody, like, this is a Snow White diss track in a certain context, but like what? Well, I mean, it is a Snow White trailer diss track, but like, if somebody like spit these, bro, like you cooking, you cooking for real. Alright, that was in the last one. Wow. Actors with dwarf, some hi ho, it's off to work. Wow. I mean, yeah, they didn't have to go with CGI, is all I'm saying.
Very.
Woo! That shit's spicy, boy.
They finally did it. They made a movie nobody's going to pirate. Did I frighten you? No, Snow White.
Why do they have to draw Hank like
Disney's
that? They
next
didn't have
step.
to do him like that. Come on. They didn't even pay me, bro.
I love how they can get the comments that rhyme to make it go.
May
But
5th,
yo,
2023, Kochi Center teamed up with artists and
this is some
research.
intense savage.
Beasts we could see showing up in the Jurassic franchise and apt combatants. Others, however, found themselves in the Hall of
Just in case you didn't know.
Monstrosity will be her only fate. Show this to my friend before skydived and he jumped out the plane with no parachute. That mirror is probably came from Timu, coming to a theater near you. Move. The swarms look
Moves.
like they came from Chernobyl. This movie isn't releasing, it's escaping.
This movie isn't releasing, it's escaping. Yo. Oh my god. This is intense, dog.
This makes the B-movie look like a Vincent Van Gogh painting.
Oh my
Thank you,
God.
Disney. You're the world's best at destroying childhood dreams. Is Disney aware that Snow White is supposed to be more beautiful than the evil queen? Evil queen.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. No one's gonna watch this movie at all.
Weird.
Mirror,
Weird.
mirror on the wall. Just how far will Disney fall?
Weird.
Yo, oh my god, that was insane. That I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That was too good. That was too good. It was too accurate. Boy, oh shiza. We gonna say thank you to What It Do, Dave.
Cause the cyber skeletons hella big, making you irrelevant. I relish it inside of a second. I'm killing everything. I want to cry. Give it to me tenfold.
White trailer comments as a song, part 3. To be real with y'all, I was literally in the middle of putting together the reactions for today, and this was not a part of that. And then I seen that this.
In the movie fades to black.
We can hear that ain't further ado. 3, 2, 1, click.
I think a happy ending would be if she is the apple in the movie fades to black. Even
Murder out the gate. To be better, it's just dead. We starting with that. That's where we starting. That's the happy ending. To eat the apple and just fade to black. What's going on, DSGs? Your boy Donald Bradley back at y'all another video, and today we've got funniest Snow White trailer comments as a.
I showed this trailer to my therapist. Now he's in therapy.
Was that in the old one? Hold up. Cause like we have seen reused stuff, but it might just be like just people commenting the same shit. You know what I'm saying? But all right, let's go.
Snow White, hello, anybody here? Projector operator, just me. Projector operator.
Hello, is anybody there? Sorry, had to reset some things.
Now he's in therapy. Snow White, hello, anybody here? Projector operator, just me. Snow White and the $7 total box office in.
Snow White and the 7 total box office income, $7. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that just be some shit? If like, bruh, cause y'all imagine that for real? Like, a movie comes out and legit nobody sees it. Like, I feel like as a planet, that would be such a visceral statement. It would be insanity to be the ones who have acted in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Movie janitors are getting a day off with this one.
Yo, hold on. That ties into the last one. Just slightly more clever. Movie janitors are getting a day off with this one, bruh. That they ain't gonna have to clean no snow.
is up, my Ammonites? It's your boy Yen Guy, and welcome back to the lab. Yes, I know it's been a while, and there are a few things that you're probably requesting, and I wanted to do a little something different today. Cause, yeah, as you're probably a little bit bored on the Monster Hunter stuff, and I can understand we both kind of want a little break for that. But also, it's come to my attention that Jurassic Park itself has not only created another hybrid that's called the, I forgot the D-Rex, I forgot the official name, but they actually created other hybrids called Mutadons. Yeah, they actually created Mutadons, and there are various sources that actually say they are the hybrids of Velociraptor and some kind of pterosaur. So that actually reminds me of... Oh, where is it? Ah, here it is. My Abaddon Dragon. In case you haven't forgotten what that entails, it actually has a very wide variety, including Megalania, Hatzegopteryx, Spitting Cobra, and Bombardier Beetle, among various other forms of dangerous creatures that actually complement and make it a very dangerous predator. Of course, there is one critic in particular that says it's probably not going to be effective, but I spit on his face and laugh because it only takes one spray to the face and he is dead. But anyway, I digress. To answer the hybrid of the Mutadons, I've actually created a 2.0, which I call Dragonhawks. Okay, so behold! The Abaddon 2.0, aka the Dragonhawks. About 5 feet tall, weighing 150 pounds, 15 feet long, and 20 plus wingspan, also having secondary pair of wings that allows it further surface area to fly, or at least glide, and not to mention it also has a very well-feathered tail. Well, let's go over the ingredients of what I have chosen and why. Starting off with the base, I've started off with the Chengyu Raptor, which is actually a much bigger cousin of the Microraptor. I mean, I wanted this thing to have powered flight, and I also wanted those 4 wings. And being a much bigger raptor than the Microraptor, and still being able to fly, that gives it a very good edge while flying in very dense forests. Or at least open forests in the case of his size. Which brings us to the Argentavis and the Haas Eagle. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's the Haas No, it's just the Argentavis. Specifically allowing it to soar vast distances and also maintaining having that strong immune system against the Indominus Rex 2.0's pathogens, and also being able to be very fast and maneuverable while in the air. And there's also the venomous bite I have given it, thanks to another another flying dinosaur. And yes, I'm fully aware of the difference. I am not talking about pterosaurs. I have actually added the Sinornithosaurus, a venomous predator that actually has venom almost comparable to the Komodo dragon, supposedly. But to ensure that it actually has that venomous bite, and a few other features, I've actually added the Spitting Cobra and the Sea Crate, allowing it to have a much deadlier poison that it can spray from 15 to 30 feet away, giving it an edge in aerial superiority. which is further improvement from my Abaddon Dragon, which I have another version of. I actually have another version of, which we'll be talking about later. And I have also added the American Crow and the Hawk. Both of these birds are actually modern. The American Crow giving it a very sophisticated intelligence of problem solving and memory, among other things, and the Hawk make it into a more sociable animal. So this thing can actually hunt in packs. That's right. You wouldn't be dealing with just one dragon hawk. You will be dealing with a whole pack of them. And also to further allow it to fly better, I've given it true DNA, giving it metal teeth and a much higher metabolism, further allowing it to fly that much better. And I've also added the bombardier beetle once again, as usual, because fire breath is best breath. But of course, the question is, how will it be able to take on any other hybrids that are theropod-based? Well, single-handed combat, it only takes just one blast. And since it's a much better flyer and way more faster, it can actually fly out of the way of that massive tail that they try to swing around. And before anyone criticizes anything, yes, it actually can fly that fast at a minimum speed of 80 miles an hour, possibly even faster, simply due to the fast maneuverability. And thanks to that tail, it can make tight turns. And if it can't do that, there's always the capability of gliding in dense areas, allowing it that much better to be maneuverable in dense areas. Flying around in open space or in dense areas, the Dragon Raptor can fly just about anywhere, even in dense forests or very, very dense urban areas. So yeah, there's nowhere you can hide. It has very great eyesight, good sense of smell, and a very decent amount of hearing. And having a high metabolism, it can actually react very well in any combat scenario. It won't be able to move as fast as a shrew, but scaling up to its size, it'll react much faster than any other large theropod that's over 30 to 40 feet long or bigger. And it only takes just one blast to the face, one bite to any area with a vein, and it is game over. Now, if you guys want to see a few scenarios of how this thing can actually fight any of these large theropods that I've got cooked up, well, I'll be making videos on that soon at some point. But let's go ahead and move on to the power version of this hybrid. And we have the Abaddon Dragon 2.0. Also based with the Hatzegopteryx, and also I've added Cinerinthosaurus as well, making it much more susceptible to the instinct to fly. And of course, I've also added the Spitting Cobra and Bombardier Beetle because, yes, I definitely still want that breath attack and that venomous bite. But I've actually added different ingredients as well. So starting off, thanks to the head crest, I've added Pteranodon DNA. Specifically for that head crest, allowing it to fly much more open areas and having much better stamina while flying, able to ride the wind that much better. And I also added Dimorphodon DNA as well, for that tail to add more maneuverability, plus the American Crow and the Shrew just to add a little bit more of that high adrenaline. I mean, yes, it's not gonna be as fast as the Dragon Raptor that we have previously, but it's still gonna have all the necessary abilities to fly at a very good maintained pace. And I also added Argentavis to give it immunity. Wow, I cannot talk today. I've also given it the immunity of the Argentavis. It being a giant vulture, it can actually fly and do massive, devastating attacks from in the air or from on the ground, being able to gallop a decent size. But here's the thing about my Abaddon 2.0. The length of this beast is 36 feet long, 13 feet tall, and a wingspan of about 40 feet. And it's actually lighter than the last time, being 400 pounds. But it's also got a spit range of 40 to 50 feet, thanks to just the sheer size of this thing. So it's got a decent size range. It's gonna have to be moving. Any opponent that this dragon is gonna be facing is probably not gonna be hit by anything, because it can have the biggest claws, the nastiest teeth, but none of those matter if they can't reach nothing, as I have stated before. It's got a good galloping speed of 10 miles an hour, but once it's in the air, yeah, 80 plus miles per hour. I mean, it's not as maneuverable as the Dragon Raptor. Dragon Hawk, I mean, but yeah. My dragon is a much better flyer now. I mean, there are no conflicts of interest that say you cannot fly, you shouldn't be flying. This thing has more animals contributing to the instinct to fly. And also similar instincts that allow it to spray venom. So there are no conflicting instincts. And the intelligence of the American Crow actually allow it to utilize its abilities, allowing it to strategize surprisingly well. So yeah, there you go, critic. Nice try, buddy. I will be making a few videos of both of these monsters taking on multiple scenarios. So, yeah, there's that. But now, let's go ahead and move on to something a little bit more interesting, because I've not only created those two dragons as a means of improving my other beast, that's one, but I also want to take things to a different, hold on to the, sorry, I'm searching through files. I have made at least three more. I made one more that's probably not gonna take on the Indominus 2.0 as an adult, but it's gonna be very dangerous against juveniles. Meet Helios. Yes, I actually created a giant saber-toothed bat. Starting with a base genome of the Thylacoleo, the vampire bat, Quetzalcoatlus, and the flying fox, just to allow it to have that more instinctive ability to fly. I've also added a saber-tooth. I debated whether or not I should use a different species, but for now, I'm gonna use Smilodon just to give it a good size. And the African leopard to allow it to climb trees. I mean, leopards are already adaptable creatures already. And I've also chosen two bats as well to give it a better ability to carry diseases and still be immune. Whether or not it's gonna be directly immune to all these is kind of a hard debate. But having bat DNA is gonna give it an edge to allow it to not be affected as much against the pathogens of the Indominus 2.0. And I've also given it true DNA as well, making those sabers a little bit more durable, cause those sabers are generally fragile. But I've actually created another solution for that. I've actually added rat DNA. That's right, the usual sewer-dwelling rat. Not only does it allow it to have better immune system, it also allows it to have the ability to carry diseases, and those canine and those molar teeth, those non-teeth right on the skull, actually grow back, which is why the rat actually constantly gnaws at things, even giving it the ability to chew through solid concrete or even various metals. So having that ability to regrow teeth would give it an edge against tough hides, as well as against any other defenses that might pose a problem against most other predators. Yeah. And as for the Thylacoleo, the marsupial lion, that's also gonna further allow it to climb trees and pounce from above. So yeah, it's got thumb claws that are gonna be very deadly. Combined with the saber teeth, it's gonna pierce through even the thickest hides. Against juveniles, they do not stand a chance. It's probably not gonna be flying as far as any of the other against the Abaddon Dragon, but it can still fly again, make a getaway before any protective parents decide to chase him on the scene. By the time the juvenile is dead, by the time the adult arrives, Helios would be making a flying getaway. So the size of this thing, about the size of a large tiger, being 10 to 12 feet long, a shoulder height of about 3 to 4 feet from the, and a wingspan about 20 feet, giving it a very good ability to soar through the skies, but not so much in dense forests. But it probably would be able to at least make a jump between trees, thanks to the leopard DNA, as well as the Thylacoleo. And of course the weight is about 350 pounds. So, a pretty beefy beast indeed. And yes, I am counting the different genomes, and let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 contributors are on this thing. So it does not have much conflict in the genome. So it's got about the same number of genomes in the Indominus 2.0 as the Helios. So yeah, I'm actually making hybrids that are actually fewer, if not also more complementary is the word I was looking for. Yeah, I've actually decided to choose a more aerial assailant on most of my hybrids. But then there's the question, what about a different angle? Yeah, I mean, you've seen one hybrid in particular that's probably especially interesting to all of you guys. One that is probably the biggest one I have created. One that is so big that whether or not you could decide it can actually go on land is debatable. But even if it can't, Poseidon is a beast that is not to be taken lightly. Behold! Poseidon, Neptunus Litocito Draco. Poseidon's beach whale dragon. The size of this thing is already a length of 60 feet long, 20 tons, and when its head is fully raised, it can be as tall as 17 feet, making it a very intimidating display of muscle and sheer power. I mean, and the speed of this thing, though not anywhere as good as any other creature on land, but in the water, it can make short bursts of 30 miles an hour. Now let's go over the genomes, cause this is where the fun parts begin. And I've also even added a little bit of lore as well, so I'll be dropping some of that as well. Now let's go over the genome. The 3 base genomes I have chosen for the body is the Leviathan, the Tylosaurus. Actually, no, sorry. I have chosen is the Tylosaurus, saltwater crocodile, and elephant seal. 2 beasts that can actually crawl onto land. And before any of you try to say anything about crocodiles being any seals that are anything more than 10 tons, just remember, Deinosuchus is about 10 tons and it can walk on all 4 legs. And I've chosen the elephant seal's body plan specifically to allow it to spread its weight out even better than a crocodile normally would. So instead of, crawling like your typical crocodile, this thing would be waddling around more like a seal. A very big, scaly seal. But it actually also adds a thick layer of blubber and muscle, not only allowing it to swim in deep waters and deep or cold waters, it actually allows it the extra layer of body armor that is actually enhancing the osteoderms of the saltwater crocodile. But there's also another way I'll be enhancing those scales as well, but we'll get to that later. I actually given this thing the brain of the orca and further enhanced its jaws with a Leviathan. The Leviathan. Yes, 2 whales that actually bring to the table a very powerful bite force. And of course the other 3 contributors are already a dangerous combination. Elephant seals and saltwater crocodiles are already dangerous biters already, mixed with a Tylosaurus already having a formidable bite as well, even having a second set of teeth inside of the upper jaw. So that is a very nasty bite. And thanks to the Tylosaurus, like monitor lizards, it actually has most than likely has a forked tongue. But we'll get to that part as well sooner than later. And of course, I also added the instinct to ram at its opponents or prey items. But yeah, I've actually designed this thing specifically to be in a more aquatic areas, taking on aquatic theropods as well as Vex, Goji Guy's famous hybrid that is basically an orca fish. But yeah, I've actually countered it can actually also echolocate already, and it's actually a much better diver thanks to the spermageti inside of the melon, thanks to the Leviathan's DNA as well, being a much more dangerous relative of the sperm whale. And of course, the other reason why I've chosen elephant seal is because they're also very deep divers too. One elephant seal has been measured to go deep as far down as over 8,000 feet. That's a pretty deep, dark dive, so that blubber is gonna really help in the long run. And of course, there there's actually other defenses as well that I wanted to add to Poseidon. So for this, I have chosen the Arapaima. If you remember this fish, Goji Sender actually used this fish's body armor to improve on the Indoraptor, or as I would call it, the Dracula Raptor, for pretty obvious reasons. But anyway, having those flexible scales and very hard scalings to protect the underbelly, and further enhancing those osteoderms, it's gonna have a very, very tough hide to punch through. If it's not the scales you gotta worry about, then it's most definitely the blubber that you also gotta punch through. So, the Indominus Rex 2.0, that spear is not gonna be very helpful. Even if it could punch through, yeah, which is very unlikely, that's gonna be a lot of time for Poseidon to actually bite back. And probably snap the spear in two. Thanks to the sheer bite force of this beast. But how can we... Yeah, I've actually got a few other tricks up my sleeve as well. Now, I did mention quite a bit about the diving abilities of Poseidon, but I wanted it to be able to stay underwater indefinitely. So I have chosen a few other contributors as well. The Arapaima being at first you would think is rather strange because this, believe it or not, this is actually an air-breathing fish. But it still has gills. So in order to activate said gills, I've chosen two contributors that actually allow it to breathe underwater. I have chosen the axolotl and the pufferfish. And I've also chosen the nudibranch as well. Starting off with the axolotl, it's gonna have external gills covering the gill holes of the pufferfish. But of course the saltwater crocodile's immune system is gonna make it less susceptible to anything that is potentially toxic or anything that's potentially a disease of some kind. So it's not gonna be vulnerable like the real axolotl would probably be. But it's still gonna be susceptible to dangerous pollutions, making it a very formidable coast guard. And it's already gonna stay in the water most of the time anyway, so hypothetically, if it's gonna be staying on the beach for periods of time, it's still gonna be coming back to the water, regardless of whether or not it can actually stay on land. But there's another reason why I have chosen the nudibranch and the pufferfish. I have actually chosen the blue dragon. I have chosen those two specifically for the poisons that it's carrying. The nudibranch DNA would allow it to not only forage for food that is very toxic. Fun fact about the pufferfish, it actually eats various polyps and algae that actually give it those toxins in its flesh and liver. And storing those toxins, it would be on the neck, the gills, and the limbs of this beast. So it's gonna be walking on land, and if Vex decides to take a bite out of any of these appendages that it might see as making it more vulnerable in a fight, that's gonna be a death sentence for Vex. And the fun part of this is where I have actually made it not just one Poseidon, one whale dragon. I have created a sexually dimorphic... I've actually created multiple females. I made it sexually dimorphic, making it a very sociable animal, and having those family bonds. That's gonna be dangerous for any predator that might actually try its luck at a potentially easy meal that is on the beach. So yes, it's gonna be very interesting indeed. Females, as you can plainly see, are actually a lot smaller than the males. The females, I would estimate, probably be about 39 to 40 feet long, while the male is at a maximum of 60 feet long. So the males, in any way, shape, or form, are probably not going to be walking onto land very much at all. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, there's a sexual dimorphism between the two, and it's simply due to the elephant seal DNA. Cause males are actually a lot bigger than the females, and most whale species actually indicate that males are actually bigger than the females. Specifically, in theory, it would be the Leviathan's mating behavior. But that being the relative of the sperm whale, males being bigger and having those massive teeth, as compared to the females that actually don't have teeth and are smaller. So, the whale dragon is gonna be probably the most dangerous creature you can find in the shore or in deep waters. I've actually designed Poseidon specifically to take on Hank 2.0, the Indominus 2.0, and any and every single hybrid that has ever been produced by other content creators. I think I'll be releasing a few other videos taking on various other beasts. And yes, I'll be starting off with both Vex and Hank 2.0. So if you guys are rather interested in finding out more about these beasts, and you want a full video describing each individual beast, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, get lucky today, and stay tuned for more of the hybrid war, because from what I can see, it's gonna get brutal. So also stay tuned for the scenarios of each individual beast that I have created. So yes, stay tuned. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you Ammonites on the next